Hey there, and welcome everybody. So good to be here this week broadcasting on Facebook Live. And you know that situation where you know that for a fact, you're talking to somebody, you're interacting with them, and you absolutely know that your business can truly, it's going to create a change in their life. It's going to create this wonderful impact. And then, yet, for whatever reason, they just don't seem to take action with you. And I'll share as we dive into this week. It's an interesting thing that what most people do on the web, what most people end up doing by accident, is they start to blame everything else. And you've likely seen some of this around as well. Oh, Facebook doesn't like my industry. Oh, it's because TikTok is being shut down by the government. Not yet. Maybe. Perhaps not. I don't think so. Here's where my audience doesn't do this on LinkedIn or whatever the platform would be. I'm putting out these emails. No, because I'm going to go deep conspiracy here theory for a moment. Oh, because that person used to be the CEO of that company and he invested this and that's. Stop it. Seriously. So today's workshop is all about how to turn your browsers into buyers. Because I've found that so often people think the number one thing that we need is more people coming into our world. And yes, that's part of it. I will always say a small bit of a numbers game will naturally apply. Though at the same time, it's the conversation. I can see Scotty's here right now with us. It's one of the biggest conversations that she's had with many of you out there of, oh, I just need better SEO. I just need to pay for some ads. And the unfortunate reality is that for most people, if all you did was just simply pay for traffic, as it's called, it unfortunately creates an even bigger amount of zero. So instead, there's other things that need to be dialed in. And let's see who's here right now, by the way. There's a chat off to the side. In the comments down below, let me know where you're logging in from. And even while you're at it too, let us know your name, where you're watching from. And curious to ask this, and this is going to come into play, especially with where we're about to go. In the chat, and just so you know, there is a horrendous delay that always gets me in my head as this happens. That it doesn't show me all the chat features in real time, so be patient as it shows them to me slightly later. But answer this off to the side too. Question is, what is the problem that you solve for your audience? Answer that question off to the side in the chat down below. What is that specific problem that you solve for your audience? And yeah, looking at this content that captures the right interest is better than getting a lot of lookers. There's a weird link for some of you up above in my description of this. If you click it, it makes it so I can actually show your name. Hey there, Scotty. And for others, it's the unstick them. There we go. Oh, cool. Carol's here. Good to see Carol here as well. But yeah, in the chat, drop the answer to that specifically to you. What is that problem that you solve for your clients? And looking here, understand dementia and how their LO is affected. Let me know specifically what LO is, because I'm going to guess and I'm going to be wrong. So help me look smarter here by feeding me the answer. What their LO is, how it's affected, what to do for them, and avoid doing. I'm going to give you a B+ on this one. Here's why. You know what my problem is? I need to understand dementia. Said no one ever. I can't remember this. I'm having a hard time doing this. You got there toward the end. Let's look at this one. Let's see. Someone here from, where did it go? Helping professional women. That's tiny on the screen. Helping professional women build their confidence and self-worth after toxic relationships so they can be happy, whether single or in a relationship. If only, the one thing I'm going to really focus on here today inside of this event, how to turn those browsers into buyers, is what the majority of you are currently doing. You got there eventually. And I don't do this to be ever a gotcha. Yet it's kind of funny that we've got Nicole, who's on our team. She does the Influence Concierge program with us. She directs the onboarding of our new people who go through our premium consulting that we do. And it's how even when they've heard this should not be a gotcha moment. It's not intended to be. Yet we help professional women. What's the problem you solve? We help professional women build their confidence. kind of gets there. Instead, forgive the language, but I've worked with people in this specific space as well. How do I get over this asshole and really rebuild my confidence? We call that top of funnel communication there. Bringing it specifically into their words. I let them talk to me like a therapist who doesn't have a degree is the problem that I solve for my clients. They have fibromyalgia and suffer from the symptoms. Everybody does this. Everybody does this. And we're about to dive into exactly how this is not just the dialogue. Thank you, whoever love it is. Weird link up above. It's optional. You don't have to buy that software, but it makes it so I can showcase your names. Perfectly fine. We are simulcasting actually as well to, I believe, the Facebook business page as well as YouTube, which might have something to do with that too. Let's kick this off though. Welcome everybody. I'm Jason Linett. This is happening here inside of our Attract Pre-Sold Clients community, where many of you are in the coaching space, the consulting space. I put you all in the category of the visionary entrepreneur because there's a lot of coaches out there who are coaches but don't call yourself coaches, but let's go with visionary entrepreneurs here. And part of my backstory was that the little bit of a secret weapon inside of this journey was that I kind of grew up with a wonderful place where ignorance was bliss. I came from a family where everybody was an entrepreneur. And it's not that I absorbed by way of diffusion and osmosis all the business acumen. It's that the stories that we all now hear about most small businesses fail. It's going to be slow your first year. Go and do it safe and steady. And I had people in my house, my parents, my grandparents, my uncle, who, here's this thing I'm going to do, and they went after it. So what would happen? We need to find a better phrase for this. What would happen if you were too dumb to know better and just went, oh, if I want to make something happen, I'm going to go after it. However, the passion for what you do, the intention for what you do, the desire is going to only get you so far. And it's different times over the years that I have a background in something rather different than many of you, which is that for 12 years running, I ran a business up in Virginia, now in Florida now, working with clients one-to-one as a hypnotist for personal change, changing habits, working with fears, working with confidence. And what's interesting is that so much of that is really based upon linguistics. Can I nerd out here real quick? This was something that popped up in a conversation the other day. Give me an okay to nerd out in the chat, just so I know I'm not overstepping this weird moment here. Quick history lesson. Whether you have the same background as I do or not really doesn't matter. But it's just this interesting moment where, like personal change, this ability, I got an oh yeah for the nerding out, so we'll take it. It's at little moments of history that if this one thing didn't occur, we'd be in a very different society. And the example that I always go towards is YouTube was originally a dating website that no one was using. So the guys who made YouTube went on Craigslist and said, hey, women, which is not a good headline, post videos of yourself on this platform and we'll pay you, which is creepy. But other people started to put other videos on the platform. And if they got upset and went, no, that's not what it's supposed to be, instead they pivoted, and here came this one of the biggest companies in the world that then was bought out by another bigger company in the world. Sure you can, if you believe you can nerd out. I believe we all can at the end of the day. So we get into the linguistics. We get into what I put into the category of ethical sales persuasion, which no, we're not out to trick people. No, we're not out to manipulate people. If anything, the first person we've got to persuade in this dialogue is us, the business owner. Because if you cannot yet telegraph through your communication the fact that what you offer is one of the best things out there that people can do, if you can't yet sell it to yourself, how the hell could you imagine successfully selling it to someone else? And how it's the right words in the right order at the right time. Part of my background is the linguistics, the vocabulary, the language patterns of personal change, which, here's the nerd out moment, I'll make it as brief as I can. Franz Anton Mesmer, someone being mesmerized, mesmerism, was a medical doctor who was the victim of a witch hunt for one reason, The man was too damn successful. In this competition, the other doctors were getting upset. So they assembled a team of what they would call learned gentlemen, smart people. And it was study this man and prove what he's doing is bogus. We use different terms for that nowadays. One of the people on the committee, I don't have one nearby because I don't keep cash around, $100 bill, Benjamin Franklin, was on that committee. And briefly, Mesmer thought it was working for a specific reason, and it was working, but not exactly for the reasons that he thought it was working. And it was Benjamin Franklin who's there off to the side going, it's these language patterns, it's the way he's communicating, it's the way he's directing their thoughts. We need to keep studying this. And the French courts went, nope, not magnets, thank you. Here's your boat ticket. Go fly a kite with a string on it. Try not to die when you get electrocuted. Good luck with that $100 bill project. We wish you the best. I'm guessing, because I'm sure they said it in French, and I don't have the ability to translate that here. Yet I point to that as a singular moment where the right words in the right order at the right time can make a massive difference. And again, as we look at some of these things that have come in here, I help people let go of who they were so they can become who they were meant to be, so they can live their best life now. Personally, politely, professionally, I love everything you just wrote. Here's the challenge. No one's laying in bed 3 a.m, muttering that to themselves, or waking up their partner going, you know what? I just need to let go of who I was, who I were. Now, you get the idea here. What are they saying? I'm stuck. I'm overwhelmed. I'm frustrated. Why can't I fill in the blank? So the shape of today, I've got, check my notes here. I've got 3 specific themes we're going to dive into to take the audience that may already be out there. Some of you saw we did this video. We dropped a link, a video in this group. I pinned it to the top, actually, with Laura, who's currently going through our premium influence consulting. And I love this moment that when I say pre-sold client, it's not just about, they're coming in and they're already making the decision they want to buy from you. It's not just they might have prepaid, though that's always glorious. The pre-sold person goes beyond just the transaction. They are sold on you. They are sold on the journey. Some of you, again, coaching space, you give people a task in your work and then they don't do it. Always point back to self, because that's the thing we can fix the fastest. I didn't communicate it in a way that actually got the follow through that was necessary. So when we bring that back to ourself, we can shift our linguistics. We can shift our messaging. And okay, I'll give the worst sales pitch for what we do. We're the thing that's missing from most everything else out there, and the thing that really needs to be dialed in before anything else is going to work. Your funnels could be gorgeous, your websites could be beautiful, but if it doesn't bring people through the journey of where they are to where they want to go, you've got those browsers. You've got those people who may just be the vanity metrics. I call this being internet rich. Ooh, we had more responses for this week's event. Oh, here we go. I'm seeing some people, I can't see the names. So I help people get unstuck so they can become who they were meant to be, so they can live their best life now. I can shift. Much better. Much better. So here's the map of where we're about to go. There's 2.5, 3 concepts I'm about to get into that really break down some of the major changes that need to occur in order to take the audience you might already be getting. This was Laura's story. This is why I brought her up a moment ago, that this person had been watching. This person had been interacting with her content, and she got on the call, and that person, she goes, oh, that's what you meant. They were already in it. And I said the price. They go, yeah, of course. And yeah, there's that aspect of it, but more so it's that emotional connection. So if that's the kind of dialogue that you're wanting to have with your people, do this so I know you're ready for it. In the chat down below, put the word connect, all caps, throw a bunch of exclamation marks, emojis and such. It makes it more fun as you're here and interacting with us in real time. But really it comes around to that active engagement of things. The way you are one place is often the way you are everywhere else. So this is as close to like abundance and law of attraction, not to put it down, that I often get. If you're the person who is getting upset when you see other people successful, who, I say this consistently in this group, which is I'll show up here and I'll teach. I'll ask you some rather pointed questions so I see what you all need help with. And then, of course, yes, we have a variety of different directions how we help people like you. And it's where, if that's a fit for you, we'll explain exactly where to go to find that. If it's not, we do these events here on a weekly basis. Not next week, I'm out of town, so stay tuned. We'll change up the schedule a bit. That is a whole lot of connect. Mimi did it right, though. We'll take it. Ooh, we got the paper clips there. Oh, the emojis are making me so happy here. So the shape of this is that, and oh, this is the point from before. There are those people that the moment someone mentions a sales offer, which I'll tell you is one of my points here, how to sell your stuff without selling your stuff, how to make an offer without feeling like you need a cold shower and you need to call and apologize to your mother. You may laugh, yet it's a thing we keep hearing. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. Well, there is an art as well as what we share, a science to how to do it. And it's oddly enough similar to the conversation as to how to upsell someone in a sales journey, maybe funnel, maybe not necessarily, without pissing them off. These are the soft skills that no one's talking about. I mean, Tim Ferriss goes on that podcast and he's like, what do you have for breakfast? I'm like, how do you do things without pissing people off? And okay, we've got buy-in for that one there. We'll take it. I see just my name, Jason Lynette. Thank you. You too as well. And that's a whole lot of exclamation marks. Here we go. So let's talk about funnels for a moment. Ha ha ha, laughs in 2 Comma Club, a word. Set aside everything with websites, set aside everything with technology, because I used to be one of these people too. It's a thing we keep diving into with people. The technology is one of the easiest things to blame. It's the easiest thing to go, I don't understand that. I'm not good at that. I don't know how to do that. And in some ways, you don't. Guess what? Neither do I for a lot of it. So I find people who are smarter and can do that and get paid well for it. Though along the way, oh, see, that tagged you under my statement there. Yet we run into this idea where as soon as the F word is established, funnel, oh no, I'm going to have to build. Is she here? I don't want to call her out by name, but I know Scotty talked to her earlier this week. I know I'm going to see her at an event this weekend, but here was the exact dialogue, and not to call you out, although I'll send this to you afterwards and note the timestamp. Oh, but I just don't want to do funnels. I don't want to do funnels anymore. It's just so complicated. But I saw the thing that Jason did like last week where he was selling that thing for $4 and it brought a lot of people into his world. I want to do that. Guess what? You know what that is? It's called a funnel. However, I didn't hit those people up with immediate, buy this now, buy this now, buy this now. There's another funnel that all of you need to understand. And I'm going to simplify this here for the sake of giving you something that's actionable for now. And for those that need more support with this, that's a big part of what we do. There's 3 different types of communication. I'm going to use the word funnel here, but I'm going to set aside the F word after this. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. And guess what? Nearly every single one of these that came in, I help people let go, middle of funnel. Oh, here we go. This one nailed it. How can I stop screaming at my mom to keep her from repeating her questions over and over? Dementia consultant Carol. Nailed it. Top of funnel communication. We're not sending out prizes and awards, but you won. There are certificates in the mail. I help people intentionally plan and implement accessibility and inclusion in their programs. We're middle of funnel already. So, and another one here, I talk to them like a friend or a therapist. And again, I'm assuming this love it comment, and I'm happy that it's showing Facebook users so no one feels called out on this one. But again, I was the most guilty of this mess early too. As much as we love it, are we the audience for that? Are we the people who are going to pull out the credit card and say, sign me up for that? Versus, I came from a background working briefly in backstage production theater. I wasn't an actor. I wasn't a designer. It was my job to make all those creative types get along. There's the psychological training foundation, by the way. And look for this, the number of plays, the number of movies that are about actors trying to write a movie, trying to put on a play, trying to put on a production. Let me get cynical for a moment. Oh, you don't have any friends outside of this industry. When we see the stuff like this, and I say this not to throw you under the bus, so I'm happy that it's not showing a name here for the sake of now. This is the stuff that we, in the coaching, consulting, visionary entrepreneur space, we love this stuff because it's gorgeous. And I really, really do sincerely, personally like it. However, is it converting for you? Is it working in the way that you want? So there's top of funnel communication. I'll break this down in a moment. There's middle of funnel communication. And then there's bottom of funnel communication. For the sake of ease, I'm just going to talk about this now as top, middle, bottom. What software do you use for that? Relax. Relax. Calm those sphincters. We're just talking about communication here. The ultimate sales messaging. Call it mirror neurons if you want to get fancy with the science on this one. Comes around to aligning with where they are. And until you can truly dial in exactly what are the words that they're saying to themselves, what are the things that are keeping them up at night, and what's the way to then, we're about to go here, transition that over to a way where now it amplifies specifically what you do, how you do it, why you do it, in a way that is respectful, in a way that, again, doesn't make you feel like you need to apologize to your mother for making a video on the web. Instead, brings it to a place where now you are communicating with them on their level. What's keeping them up at night? So top of funnel, top communication for the sake of today is all about bringing it into their specific words, into their specific language. How are they firing it off in their own brains? There's a classic quote. I love this man's work. Dan Kennedy, written all the books on copywriting. There's a whole shelf just of his stuff over there. One of his lines that is a classic statement is, whoever can spend the most amount of money to acquire a customer wins. And that's often true. I would edit it to say, whoever can truly understand the needs, wants, and desires of the audience, that's who's going to win. And that's where I'd say that is going to completely dwarf everything else. Again, I'm going to put this one on the screen. I love it, being supportive here. We're in a community of people with coaches, consultant, visionary entrepreneurs where stuff like I help people quantum elevate and shift towards who they were meant to be from where they are now. If we're your audience, if perhaps you're looking to do a training offer for people here, you nailed it. If you're looking to work with normal, everyday muggles, the normies off the street, people, and not just the expert types, again, the number of plays about people putting on plays, that's where the challenge becomes. Let me know in the chat down below. Just give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes if this is making sense. And no, I'm not just here to poop all over your what problem do you solve questions here. We're about to talk solutions here as well. But just let me know if you're following me so far on this one, if you're on track. It's a very simple concept, yet, well, Scotty's one of our lead influence specialists. I'm hoping that she would understand. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I knew that already. Good. Yep. Yes, absolutely making sense. So here's the, yep, thank you for that. Here's the, look at that, master of all things linguistics with the yup. Thank you for that. Top of funnel. It's an, okay, we'll take it. Thanks. Good to have you here. Top of funnel, it's in their words. You got to go wide. This is how we grab that audience. And then it comes around to the artful transition to then middle of funnel communication. I'm going to go into the chat myself. I think I can actually do this here. Because if you can't see it in the chat, in the After Effect, maybe that's going to show up. Scotty, if it doesn't show up, I put the word solutions, but I put parentheses around the S. When they hit middle of funnel communication, this is where they're now aware of solutions. Top of funnel, I'm stuck. how do I get my mother to stop yelling because of this diagnosis? When we go to middle, now they're aware of perhaps a variety of different avenues. They could go I'm just going to go general here. They can go the nutritional route. They could go this route. They could go that route. Whoever did this, I love you. It's almost there. Oh, this is funny. It actually showed mine. Cool. Solutions. That's what it should look like. And it may be one, it may be several, but it comes around to they're now starting to become aware of different solutions. And all of you are going to love. I'm hearing myself sometimes in my head. This is my brain. Sometimes you ask me a question and I'm going to answer you in massive detail because I'm the guy who loves this stuff. I'm the one who is constantly tweaking a headline, testing a message. If you see some of the stuff I put on social media, look carefully. We might sometimes record a video and record 8 or 9 different versions of the opening sentence just to see which one lands and then eventually delete all the others because this was the winner. If you're not willing to test, you're gambling every time you put something out there. Let's help you to dial in the right words in the right order at the right time to really not just create impact in the mind of your audience, but more so now, change their language, change the way they talk about it. So with middle of funnel, they're aware of the different solutions. And you guys are going to love it when I whip out my bottom here. It's how I remembered where I was supposed to go next. Bottom of funnel communication is you. Yes or no? So the deeper expert level questions that we would all have that are what our individual specialties are, that's where a lot of you start. Or you get into the methodologies here in the middle, and yet, I mean, you're speaking a different language. It's the stupid joke I made earlier about what they said over in France, and I don't speak French. It's where, true story, I did buy a custom suit the one time I was in Paris, and he didn't speak English, I didn't speak French, but somehow we both had a working level of numbers in German. Suit fit like a glove. So we find these places where here's where your audience is. So, let's change the topic of today. I said how to turn the browsers into buyers. Phase 1 of this is that you've got to actually grab their attention. Otherwise, most business owners are invisible for either one of 2 simple reasons. One is that you're putting out a lot of stuff, yet it falls into the category of what we now deem the content confetti cannon. You're like confetti blasting stuff out to the world that then, like confetti, hits the ground, and then nobody picks it up, nobody buys it, nobody looks at it, and then ultimately no one buys, no one engages. Or, and this was the conversation I had with someone this morning, it's that the terror of what if I do it wrong? Which this may not be the most inspirational thing I could share with many of you. It's the fact that if your headline is weak, if you're using a lot of this middle of funnel communication, I love that you're keeping and putting new ones in here. But again, I help people level up their lifestyle. Damn it, Janice, I just got to level up my lifestyle. I love this so that they can quantum shift. You just went from middle of funnel in the first clause here. Sorry, I understand grammar. So they can quantum shift. You just shifted down to bottom of funnel communication into where they're meant to be. This is where if you're attracting an audience that already has rapport with you, that can work. If you're in a space where you're already well known, that can work. So it's not saying it doesn't work. I'm telling you where it does. Instead, I hate my career and I'm just burned out and I got to create a change. I feel like I've brought this up to here. Well, this is my story. I know this isn't clinical depression, yet the work that I'm doing in an industry that I'm no longer passionate about is creating what I've even discussed with the doctor is situational depression, which is every signal to go, here's where you're more passionate. Here's this thing you want to do differently. Yeah, you're driving yourself crazy in that job you hate. How quickly can you make that transition? And this is where in my head, I had a 5-year plan and I walked out 6 months later and went, I'm good. That's that dialogue. I'm who your audience was. I was that audience in like 2005, 6, and 7. That's not the explaining to my soon-to-be wife why I was irritable. That's not the why I was not engaging with social events, which granted, again, the hours of that job pulled me away from everything. Do you see the difference there? This right here, it's not just whoever can spend the most wins the customer, whoever truly understands the hell out of them. I love this quote. An entrepreneur is often that person who's willing to solve a problem. That's the one you might have had a number of years ago. I was chasing all the shiny objects. I was convincing myself that no, it's because I should be using that software instead. No, it should be that one instead. And it's the messaging. It's the way that we communicate around it. It's the simplicity of, rewind back to what I said a little while ago. You're invisible for either one of two reasons. Either you're wasting a bunch of time putting out stuff that no one engages with, or you're terrified to do it wrong and not doing anything right now in terms of your consistent client attraction, which is not, well, the only thing consistent is that there's either the wrong action or there's too much action or no action at all. Tell me in the chat here. Bullseye? Yes? Nailed it? Why? I was there too. And step one of this is bringing this into a dialogue so it's said with love and care and respect, not the stuff that we are all excited about, but the stuff that really aligns and makes them go, this person knows exactly what I'm going through. Perfect timing, whoever put exactly in the chat there. Thank you for that. Which one more thing I'm going to dive into here in a bit of detail as well, which this is what we help people do. We do our premium influence consulting program, which hit that right on the head, Jason. Wow. Oh, I'm so sad I can't see who the user is. I think it's because I'm simulcasting different ways is why it's not showing me names. But I'm getting a little bit more personal with feedback because of that, with this reason. That okay, here's the other random anecdote. I had a hobby of doing close-up sleight of hand magic as a teenager. You know, like you do. And it was the Magic Club meeting where the guy would do the really, really sloppy performance. And everyone's applauding and saying nice things. And we love that. It's the give us the high fives, give us the attaboys. And take note, I'm not going the, some are going to laugh at this a little too quickly. I'm not going the hack online business coach route, which is the y'all are doing it wrong because you're afraid. No, you're not charging high ticket because you don't believe in yourself. You got money blocks. Maybe. Or success is the result, confidence is the result of success repeated over time. And if we can't get that initial footing, no wonder. Look at the category of someone quitting smoking. It's not that they necessarily want to quit or don't want to quit. It's kind of logical that they've had so many failures that they don't believe they could actually do it. And this is where others hit you with this ego stuff. I want to pop on and just say, do this, which this is what we help with. I'm laughing because we talked about this earlier today, that we do a program, which, yes, part of it happens in a group, and it's all designed by the people who have gone through group programs that hate group programs, to build one that we've been posting significant wins here in this space. We had Laura, who was doing that post about the $2,500 client. Deanna, a little while ago. I think that's actually the podcast that comes out tomorrow, or the one last week, which is a single client came in 15,000. And be cautious when it's someone going, here's what I'm earning, here's what I'm earning. And instead, notice how our focus is, here's what our people are doing. That as much as here's a mechanism of support that we have in a group, we've created what we call the Influence Concierge Journey. So this is a done with you consulting journey to dial in the right messaging at the right time and then apply it specifically to your business. And the beauty of it becomes that we have people in a variety of different spaces. So when you see what our dog trainer guy is doing, as well as this person who runs a big brick and mortar business, it's where you start to realize the mistakes. We've had a variety of different industries here in the comments down below. And yet it's coming back to the same core concepts here, which here's the next step of this, which is that if you're tired of being invisible, if you can step back and look at all the stuff that you've put out and see that you and your mom are liking it. We're heavy on moms today. It's the sign that you're putting out the stuff that isn't really even getting the browsers. This is what we help with. The next step from here is rather simple and rather transparent as well. Scotty, who's here, is one of our lead influence specialists. And do this in the chat down below. I just did the first one so you can see the right spelling. I always have to laugh because it's the word grow, but someone will invariably write glow, to claim what we call it influence client attraction audit. We have different names for this in different places, but it's what we call a client attraction audit, where the first step is to get laser focused on what your current strategies are and dial in what is working as well as clearly what needs to change. Then from there, giving rather specific instructions as to here's what needs to go differently. And then from there, here's exactly how we can work with you inside of our program, which is, again, churning out some awesome wins this recent year, which is if we know we can help you out, we'll tell you what that looks like. If we don't think we can help you out, we won't try to sell you anything. So if you want to claim one of those audits, if you're here with me live, put it in the chat down below. If you're watching the replay on Facebook, you can also put the same word grow down below. Or if you're watching this on a web page, and like we've hosted the video somewhere off of Facebook, there's probably just a giant purple button. Click that. You don't have to say grow. It just gives you access to the calendar. I've learned to highlight that for all the different places where this will appear. So comments down below. Yeah, Mimi, is this right? Top of funnel, understand the client. I would say speak the language of the client, just to go a little bit more specific here. Then let's see. There you go. Oh, look at that. She's clicked the link so we can show her face. Middle of funnel, identify the solutions. I wouldn't say necessarily identify, just to be a little bit of a stickler on this one. It's where I learned a lesson. Well, I'll highlight this after. Bottom of funnel, it's really the presentation as to whether it's you or not. So the identify the solutions there. When you really dial in the pre-sold relationship, I learned a lesson the hard way, which is, oh, if you were to call someone else who does this, they would do X, Y, and Z. And I've had a few moments over the years where people go, oh, there's other people who do this? This is like more on the personal change, one-to-one client side of things. It's like, oh, I created my own category here. I telegraphed a journey where their decision factor was me. So it's the only little edit I want to throw to that, Mimi, that not necessarily just identify the solutions. This is where put this all not on your ownership. That's the edit here. When it's on the ownership of the person on the other side. And now they are aware of their problems. Now they are becoming aware of solutions, or it might just be you. You might bring them right into bottom of funnel right away. There's a grow. Thank you for that. Scotty's here in the chat. She'll reach out as well and connect from there. And bottom of funnel, again, shift the perspective not to yourself, because that's at its core been the issue with most of these here. The last point I want to share here is the art of selling your stuff without it feeling like you're selling your stuff. Presenting a solution in such a way that now doesn't feel, again, like you need to wash your hands and you're filthy for what you've done. And this is something we found to be rather helpful for many of the people that we've worked with, and some of them I can see are here right now, which is in a space where this is as weirdly specific, because again, me too. You are heart-centered entrepreneurs, yet you don't self-identify as that term. But the industry jargon, that's what it's called. But like, you don't go, I'm a heart-centered entrepreneur. Or maybe a few of you do, but like, that's not your typical language. But you're in that category. Congrats. Bottom of funnel communication there. Selling your stuff without it feeling like you're selling your stuff. It comes about entirely from how we make transitions. It's where if I just simply said, by the way, we have let's take the thing I did like 2 weeks ago, which is not available anymore because we pissed people off when we said we'd sell it out at 72, and we sold 72 and we stopped. And then we said we'll sell it out at 52, and then we sold at 52, and we did this uncanny thing that happens on the web. We stopped, because like following through with your word is very important. It turns out it's that ability to make that transition where here's the thing that I shared, here's the thing that I taught, and then it was the positioning of what that specific opportunity was, and it wasn't about, it's got 9 videos. Yeah! It wasn't, the game of it was produced in 4K video and we then rendered it down to standard high def so it's better. Oh, it streams. There's an app you can watch it on. And some would be excited about that if that's what you do. Instead, though, it was the here's the problem it's going to solve for you. So it's entirely about what you say, how you say it, and how you make connections. I'll drop at least what I call it here in the chat if you're curious to know my sort of phrasing for us, which is offer amplification. Which, notice again, it's not just about number of sessions, number of minutes in the meeting, how many videos in the library. It's not about how many pages in the ebook. No, it's about how your way of describing what you do simultaneously validates in some ways why they haven't yet been successful on their own, and then presents what you do as a clear and logical and honest solution. It's all about that transition. Versus, I'm at a conference this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this is why there's some conferences that go, no sales pitches, no sales pitches. And like this one handles it well to go, hey, reserve it for this time slot. Yet it's where there's people who would get up to give a talk and like, hey, I've put these out of the tables and here is, this is my product list. They're all discounted here. And like, teach us something, damn it. And just the versus the, oh, well, I've got 10 minutes left, so let me tell you about the products at my table. Earn the right to make an offer so you don't ever have to apologize for making the offer. Invite your audience to actually genuinely care before you ever expect them to listen, let alone whip out the credit card and buy. So can you look at, in some ways, a bit of self-reflection? You don't have to put this in the chat down below. If you do, more power to you for calling out, because I'll be the first to say this. You can look at things you've done before and go, that's why that didn't work. You can look at things you've done before and go, I was blaming something else. Here's what needed to change. It's that ability to make that transition between where they are to a place where now, as back to Mimi's question, as they become aware of solutions, they very rapidly go into that place where now you are that solution to them. The button to all of this would be, yes, the longer you spend not using these principles is not just money left on the table, it's lives that you're not yet impacting. And we all can run into this game of, I should have done it this way, I should have done it that way. And the epiphanies we've been seeing, the wins that our people have been posting, the communities that they've been connecting to, which is we've got people doing co-productions. Like, should we talk about that? That's awesome. Comes around to the linguistics, the messaging, and it's where we can get all excited when here's a new software that comes out. But again, look at a lot of my stuff nowadays. Even probably if you're watching this on a replay page, headline, video, maybe a couple of bullet points, button. We have scaled back our technology. Ooh, white background. Why? Because it makes your eyes go to where you should be looking. Simplicity wins. However, if you're talking about it in a way, here's a great little canary in the coal mine. That's a horrible metaphor. If it's only getting industry-related people engaging with your stuff, again, my real revelation here is that some of you think you've had browsers, but no, you haven't even had that. It's got to begin in their language, and it's that way that you then transition that to a place where now, here's what I do in a way that validates them, presents what you do in an ethical and logistical way, and clearly creates that dialogue where they're going, this person gets it, this is what I've been looking for, that's what I want help with. Until you do that, you've got browsers. Bring them in, bring them into a narrative, let them be seen. Let them feel heard. Let them feel that connection. Then from there, okay, yeah, ethical sales persuasion. All communication is persuasive. All communication is influential. So if that's going to happen, no matter what, might as well do it effectively and ethically. Which, hey, I got to thank everybody for joining us here today. We won't be doing an event like this next week just because, again, travel schedules and such. And I spent way too many years in various parts of life getting frustrated in the I can figure it all out. I can figure it all out. I got the books behind me. I got the same stuff on the shelf that a lot of you have as well. We reach a place where simply knowledge alone gets us up to a certain place. And to intentionally sometimes put ourselves in a scenario where we don't feel comfortable, where we're not just in the room with everyone else patting ourselves on the back going, we're doing fine, we're doing fine. I love that. I love that. And again, we had one of those moments here today. And I say that not to throw shade or judge something. It's to call out, if things aren't working the way you want, you see the reason why now. If we can be a help with that, that's what we're doing consistently. And it's why you see us more so tell the stories of our people that we're currently working with, and not the, here's what I did, here's what I accomplished. It's behind me on the wall. You can figure it out for yourself. Say the word grow in the chat below if you want us to reach out. Connect if you're someone who's not yet working with us for one of those client attraction audits. If you're here with us live, if you're watching on Facebook on the replay, the word grow, throw that down below either way. If you're on a page, purple button, and I can see those 3 numbers. Good to see you here. Talk about a browser. Yeah. What's different since the last time we talked? Put that out there. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here today. Stay tuned for more events like this in the chat down below as well. Let us know your takeaways, what helped you to shift your thoughts around how to market your business, and how really all sales becomes a noble art form, a noble science, when you are truly solving someone's problem. Change your words, change your business, change your life. I'll see you next time.